I had a guy yesterday when I was talking about I did stuff yesterday. I went treasure hunting, and I was with a large group, and I kind of broke off from the group. Well, I found a hot spot, so I started finding this stuff. And people didn't want to come in. All my buddies didn't want to come. It's kind of an unwritten rule.
It's kind of like fishing, right? If you found some fish, you're not just coming with a crowd of man.
Small area. So I looked up at one point, and they were all gone. They had moved somewhere else, and so I was by myself, but I was still finding stuff. It was a spectacular day. But at some point, I just looked up, and there was a guy standing there, which made me nervous for a second. It's a young buck.
Because you've got the headphones on.
Got the headphones on. I'm pretty good ways from any road or my truck, and he's made the walk out there because he recognized me from a distance. And I said, what's going on? And he said, well, I thought that was you. I just wanted to see if it was. I thought, well, that was a long walk just for confirmation. But he said something about Camp Chioka, and I thought, oh, okay. And so I said, well, are you following Jesus? Because I thought this is a situation here where I don't know what his intentions are.
Right.
So let's go ahead and cut to that chase, because if he's planning on putting me in the ground here, because he was just acting kind of weird. And he said, well, I try to. And I thought, I said, most people I've heard say that usually means they're not.
Exactly. It was just like, Jase, I was at a hotel recently, and I handed a guy a letter, and I said, can you get this in the outgoing mail? He said, I can certainly try.
Yeah.
I didn't feel good about that letter. And guess what? It never got there.
Exactly.
Well, to be fair, that's a good communication policy. If you don't promise things you can't deliver.
That's right.
Yeah. So that led to some clarity. I didn't ask him anything else. It led to, he said, yeah. He said, I kind of have always felt I'm on the fence. And I said, what fence is that? And he's like, oh, you're right, which I didn't say anything. I just asked another. I was trying to go.
You went Jesus on him.
I went Jesus
question
style.
by question.
I said, what fence is that? And he said, yeah, you're right. He said, I think the devil's fence is in the wrong pasture or something like that. And I said, well, what do you...
All you did was ask a question. He took your point.
All I did was ask 3 or 4 questions. I said,
I love it.
What do you plan on doing about this? And he said, well, I don't know. I guess that's why I walked out here. I said, okay, well, here's what I would do.
So now who's seeking the treasure in the field?
So after those 3 questions, what's actually interesting is while I'm at that point of the conversation, another person pulls up and starts walking out toward me and him. And I said, well, looks like I have another person on their way out here to hear this same story. But because he never said why he was there, what, never said. I said, you need to go get you a Bible and read the book of John and look at who Jesus is. And then go all in. Because you're right, to your point about the fence. You're either all in or all out. I said, where do you think you are? And he said, I think I'm all out. I said, well, go get you a Bible. So
he got off the fence before the conversation was over.
He turned around and took it's half a mile walk back here. So the next guy who I actually recognized was part of the other crew.
Yeah.
But in the moment, I wasn't sure who he was.
Yeah.
And he said, what was all that about? I said, he came out here and
so
I told him about Jesus.
he was just coming to check on you, I guess.
Yeah. He thought, who is this? Because the guy looked,
Yeah.
Looked kind of
like
weird.
he's on the fence.
Yeah. Well, I just thought it took a lot for a person to park their vehicle and walk